Why hello everyone, Zershin here, and welcome to another episode. In this episode we're going to be doing some MCC Island. This was filmed right after the live stream on Wednesday, where we finished up the rest of Final Life, so if you want to check that live stream out, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. But yeah, with that, let's get into it, shall we? Here we go. First off, we did some to get to the other side and whack a fan. Some of these clips are sped up a little bit more just for time and such. And overall, this first round went okay on the skydive map. I was mostly just following people as I normally do on these kinds of maps, because it just makes it a little easier in my opinion, and I got 6th place, TG getting a high place as well, along with GigaDrake. Next up was walls. This one I've always found kind of tricky, and with the slapstick, that's not going to make it any easier. But I did end up following TG and GigaDrake, and they managed to get pretty far, and we all managed to get pretty high rankings within that second round. And that was quite nice, because normally I'm in the bottom bit, so that was quite fun. Next up was Siege, and I always miss the lily pads. Always. And I almost always fall into the mud. Practice will hopefully help with that, and I also didn't notice the chicken there as I'm looking back through this, so that was fun. But TG got 2nd place, so good for you, TG. Now, time for game number 2. For game number 2, we started out on Air Train and with early birds. I know I'm gonna get a lower place on this one, mostly because early birds, I've never seen where they are on this map, and normally by the time I get to the end when there is early birds, I'm normally not able to see where they are because it also means there's lots of chickens there at the end. But yeah, that was a rough round. Round number 2 of game number 2 was the dome, and this one was quite fun as well, getting a nice early place of 7th. And then we had Las Vegas, which I have not played before, and the modifier was hot potato. So needless to say, as soon as this started, I was pretty sure I was not going to get too far, and I would be correct because I kept on falling off or having the hot potato explode, and overall it was just not a fun time. It's also bright and colorful, which makes it harder to tell where all the concrete is, and losing track of players for if you're having them as guides makes it kind of hard as well. But TG got 3rd again, so good for TG. And that's the end of game number 2. On to game number 3. For game number 3, we started out with the Chili Con Carnage for the map and the slapstick. Again. But luckily that one doesn't matter as much on this map, at least in my opinion. I absolutely love this map with how fast you can go on the ice and such, and the slapstick only helps with that. This is also the first time where I've ever gotten all these jumps correct and don't have to go back to do them, which was quite nice. TG and GigaDrake each got top 5 within that round, and I got 10th, which sure it isn't the best with 12 people, but at the same time it still means I finished, which I'm going to count as a win, because there are times where I haven't because I got stuck on the jumps. Next up was Air Train, where this was the first time I've gotten these jumps all correct, which was quite nice. And yeah, nothing big happened on Air Train, to be honest. I mean, GigaDrake and TG each got pretty high things, all within the top 10. Meanwhile, I was the last one, which definitely isn't the best. And then we had the modifier double time on Siege. I really don't like this as a combo together because I can never get past the first 2 parts that you need to get past. If I had extra time, possibly, but other than that, it is so difficult because I'm not used to the extra speed. I'm always falling off these bushes that you're supposed to climb up, if you zoom into there, you go backwards too far. It's a really hard modifier to have on this. Luckily, both TG and GigaDrake finished, but as you can see, only 6 people managed to get past that final round there, so good for them! But yeah, that was kind of brutal, but nicely done to GigaDrake and TG for getting 4th and 5th on that game. Now we are on to game number 4, which we started once again with the dome. This time I decided to try to keep up with people a little bit more, still probably following bridging, but not fall behind as much, but the problem was a lot more people were willing to punch this time. And with everyone just building right there, it made it kinda difficult to even get past the first time, and that meant in a 12th place, which is okay. But then next up we had Beehive with red light, green light. Needless to say, this is not the best combination, at least in the beginning, because it went off right as people were jumping off the slime, and it almost half the lobby went out with that red light, green light, and yeah. Luckily, it did not happen again, but at the same time, that was kind of frustrating. Well, not frustrating, but yeah. Then last but not least, we had Skyscraper, which luckily did not have the 1 life modifier on it, because that one's just never fun to have on that one. I'm like, it can be fun because you can have the thrill of doing it, but at the same time, per se, you're doing it in like an MCC if they do have the modifiers there, and I don't know how much fun that would actually be. But yeah, overall got 11th on that one, got 12th overall. Meanwhile, GigaDrake got 3rd, so nicely done, GigaDrake. Now on to the 5th and final game of To Get to the Other Side. For the final game of To Get to the Other Side we were going to play, we had Funhouse as the first round. I have played Funhouse a few other times before, but I have never finished it, and needless to say, I was a little nervous. Luckily though, I managed to keep semi with the crowd this time, and it was going at least relatively smoothly compared to the other times that I've had this map, where I've been almost completely lost throughout the whole thing, to be honest. Luckily though, even though I was the last one to finish, we still managed to finish this once. That was quite nice. Then we had Vegas, which now I knew the path to take, which was quite nice, and it meant maybe this would be at least a higher placement than before. Sure, I fell the first time, second got myself, which was a relief, to be honest. So yeah, it was just building on over. With how I love how Brand's Edge, I also love how fast you can swim under the water here. That's always quite fun. Got 6th, and GigaDrake got 8th, and TG got within the top 5, which good for him. Last but not least, we had Skydive. This was probably the worst round I had, because sure, it started out cool, was following people, caught myself there somehow, but then everyone came to this one spot, couldn't really see anything, and then when I got to the end here, I thought the jump was to the left, realizing it was to the right, didn't have enough time to place the concrete. That was quite frustrating. Luckily, both TG and GigaDrake were able to complete this one, but that one just definitely was not my game. And that was the end of all 5 of the To Get to the Other Side games. Now, it's on to Dynaball. Now, for Dynaball, I quite like Dynaball because it's like shooting a bow and arrow in Minecraft, and I really like to use the bow and arrows in Minecraft. Now, as per usual, the first bit of the game is relatively slow and calm, at least as calm as a game like this can be, until you get later on into the game. Now, as you can see, for the first little bit, we were winning. We are the yellow team. I fell relatively early, though, but if you look over there at their base, look at how many mobs there are just spawning. It's honestly quite impressive. So there are 2 people left on the green team and 3 left on yellow, so pretty sure yellow's gonna win this one. But there were so many mobs on that platform, it was honestly quite impressive. And more just keep on spawning. I mean, this base here was just pretty much overfilling with mobs, to be honest. And it was quite interesting to see, but it wasn't long until the game was over and the yellow team did win, so we did win that one. For the second one, it started off pretty much the same. The map was Jenga, and this one has always been a quite difficult map, if I do say so, because it's just, you can fall quite easily early on, and then trying to get back up or get to a spot where you can use any of the TNT you might acquire during the first early bit can be quite hard. But yeah, and then of course there was all that. Unfortunately, that TNT did not hit anything. But yeah, we pretty much were destroyed in this match, to be honest. Green ended up winning, and with all their people too. Now for the final game. This one was by far the best game I've had in Dynaball. It was absolutely amazing. So it's teal versus, well, cyan versus purple. Once again, it started off nice and slow. Me and GigaDrake sitting side by side for a first little bit of it as well, just trying to keep the high ground. And building up the platform as well, trying to just stay as high as we can. Got a few headshots as well, which was kind of nice. As you can see, that's what the little bit there is what was left of my platform. Then we had the powder stuff, which this stuff is nice. I kind of wish you would make a few more blocks fall, but that's just my opinion. And we were actually losing for a good portion of this. I mean, it was 4v6, and it just kept on going downhill pretty much. Until right around this point, I could never seem to get my inventory free of TNT, which was kind of nice. There was a chicken strike on our base, but that's okay. Got another headshot. It's like whenever I got rid of one thing of TNT, another one would appear. Plus, there was always getting more. There were two TNT things stacked on top of each other as well, so that was quite a fun find. And we got out of there just as more TNT went off. Kept on gathering blocks. I forgot how much you can speed up later on in these kinds of games. I also got someone which I found kind of cool. Then it was building up frantically, trying to avoid all the TNT as I kept on getting stuck, and then I fell. But then the last person on our team managed to make it a 1v1, which was quite impressive, and they did absolutely amazing. And this amazing play on both sides until eventually we won that game. And overall, this was a quite fun time. Thank you to GigaDrake and TG for joining me on this. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did. And yeah, with that was today's video. If you liked it, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, for it really helped me out a lot. And I'm also thinking we will stream again this coming Wednesday, and it will probably be some more MCC Island. But yeah, with that, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Zerishan out!